While the world is reeling under AI pressure and newsrooms are facing the changing dynamics, we have a woman who is on a journey of her own. She is the INMA Generative AI Initiative lead, Sonali Verma. She has been moving around the newsrooms and trying to understand how to integrate generative AI rightly in the different projects. So a very warm welcome to our show, Sonali. You are at JNM today and you have seen our Smartosaur initiative. How do you feel about that?
I think it's so creative, and I love the way that you celebrate small wins. You know, it's easy to lose momentum. It's easy to lose track of what it is that you're trying to achieve. I love the way you keep the excitement going in a lighthearted way, and how you celebrate people who are actually making an effort and making a difference.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And moving on with the first question. So Sonali, what's the single biggest hurdle news organizations face in truly scaling their generative AI initiatives? And how are the most successful ones overcoming it? That would be my first question to you.
So it is a big culture change initiative, right? You're trying to get people excited about something which they look at and they think, oh, is this going to take my job? So I would say most news organizations underestimate the amount of change management that's required. I've noticed that you do a lot of communication around how it's going to upgrade your skills rather than make you redundant. And you do it in such a creative way. So I congratulate you. I could see the enthusiasm in your newsroom for your AI initiatives. Other news organizations try it in different ways. For example, they do a lot of training videos, which I know you also do. They create a centralized repository of all their resources. They set up a Slack channel where people answer questions. They have ambassadors from every corner of the newsroom as part of the AI team so that they can help create products that solve genuine pain points. And they can take feedback from the newsroom directly to the product team and make sure that each iteration actually helps solve the problem. So this helps with getting buy-in as well, because if you create something that's truly useful, then people usually appreciate it. Another thing that works really well is direct one-to-one conversations on what motivates people and how AI can help them achieve their goals, which I'm sure you're doing as well, because I could see how excited people were.
Right. So when you say identifying pain points, how do we identify that? I mean, I know that there are a lot of AI literacy and trainings that are going around, but how should we identify what is the right thing that needs to be done? How to educate the journalists in the right manner? What are the tips and tricks there that one should follow to build that hook and get them some insights into the industry, as you have already been doing that so far? So what would be your say there?
You know, in most cases, it's just straight up education. It's understanding what your newsroom is going through. It's understanding how the technology can genuinely help them. And honestly, a part of that is not doing AI for the sake of AI. It's looking at what the problem is, then asking, look, is AI the best solution for this? And if it is, then how should we implement it? And involve them in the process, right? Ask them, what do you need help with? What do you find tedious or difficult or repetitive or challenging? How can this be a good assistant to you or a good co-worker for you? One good example is investigations. Many journalists really enjoy using AI tools for investigations because it can go through a lot of data, a lot of documents, a lot of images, and find patterns or recognize things that help journalists go faster, go farther. You know, for a journalist to go through thousands and thousands of documents or images, it's a lot of work, it's time consuming, they're afraid they're missing something. This can be a really helpful assistant, as we've seen in the cases of Pulitzer Prize winning investigations. So if you're genuinely solving a problem that people have, they're happy and excited to use your tool. They're happy and excited to tell their neighbor about it too and say, hey, you should try this too.
So yes, we came across this Google tool, Notebook LM, and the number of PDFs that you can include into that and get a summary out of it, turn it into a podcast. So, I mean, yes, there are many tools and technologies that are coming up. But when you talk about news avoidance, as you mentioned, people are unable to understand why everywhere there's a repetitive content coming up, why the same information is eclipsing them. So, what would be your suggestion there for the newsroom, digital newsrooms specifically? How should we learn more about what people are not wanting to read and give them the right content there?
So the answer there is twofold. First, look at your data. That'll give you some idea of what people are engaging with, what people find interesting, what they find relevant. And the second one is to experiment, because data will only look at what you've already done. When you experiment, say, with a new format or trying to do things differently, you'll see if it's having the impact you want or not.
Right. So you mentioned that your new report is coming soon into the market. So any early key takeaways that you would want our audience to know more about?
Sure. So I haven't yet written it, but let's see. One is this idea of liquid content, that you really have to think about how to provide content to your audience, existing and new, in a format that's relevant to them, that they want to consume it in. In other words, it's not a case where, you've handed down one thing and you're wondering why they're not using it. No, it's really getting inside their heads and saying, okay, so this person is really short on time, they're trying to do a lot of things, maybe I should provide it to them as audio instead. Or I have to think of an engaging hook for this video that I've created, because it's very important, it's very relevant, but if nobody stops to look at it when it's on Instagram, then what's the point of doing it? So that would be one thing. The second would be the idea of using AI for user needs, to address user needs. We produce a lot of content. Most of it is aimed at updating people on developments on a big story or on a long-running story. But really, our audiences are multifaceted people. They like to have fun, they like to be inspired, they like to be educated. And so they need more than just news developments. They need to know how they can solve problems in the world, or they need to know how to sleep better and eat better. And so to use AI to address different user needs, whether it's through explainer journalism, whether it's through solutions journalism, whether it's through just providing stuff in different formats, so that people feel inspired to come back to you over and over again, I think that's an important point as well. So personalization is another point, that it really is table stakes now. Everyone expects it in every format, whether you're giving them editorial content or whether you're targeting them with advertising. They really do expect personalization now. So again, a place where AI can be very useful in making sure that the content that we're producing is tailored to the needs of the person we're providing it for.
But search is one mechanism that is becoming a headache and an issue of concern for many publishers. So the AI search and these big techs getting into licensing deals and the effect of search and rankings there. With your aerial view on the industry, what is your say on that?
Search traffic is drying up. It's drying up for a lot of publishers. I think the era of scale and SEO-driven traffic is drawing to an end, and we really have to think about how to reach people who value us for what we provide. There's no shortage of information in this world, but I look at your publication. It's a quality publication, and you produce fine journalism, and people come to you for a reason. There are certain columnists that are big names whose perspective readers really appreciate. It's the household name, it's the brand of choice for many, many news consumers. So really zeroing in on what it is that differentiates you as a brand and that makes you so unique, and making sure that consumers can see that and that you are doing your utmost to meet their needs through that, I think is the solution. That build that direct relationship on the foundation of your fine journalism, and don't worry about all the information floating out there, because that's noise.
Right.
like we have to learn how to ignore the noise and focus on what's really important.
Right, like, I mean, this is a rainy season time here, and I recall my 13-year-old asking me that on every news that I'm seeing, I can see that there are potholes and the roads are getting flooded, but there's no news about the contractors or the people who actually did not build the right thing. I don't see any news there. Then there's an issue of good news in all the senses. Everywhere around, all around, we have bad news. So these are the small things that are coming from Gen Alphas, and they are the next consumers. So maybe we need to think about that. My last question to you would be, for being a woman, what would be your one piece of advice to other women who are understanding AI and trying to integrate generative AI or agentic AI or any other new technology that comes forward into newsrooms and journalism?
From my journey, what I've really learned is you have to understand where people are coming from if you want them to be part of the journey. You can't just try and force this down their throat. You really have to understand how they're feeling, how you can get them excited about this technology. And of course, rigorous experimentation. Pick your metrics ahead of time for success. Run a clean experiment. Make sure your data is good. All of that stuff, but it has to come with some empathy, because we're dealing with people, we're not dealing with machines, right? And humans connect with other humans and listen to each other. And that's equally on you and it's equally on them.
So this was all from me, Devika, in the AI Literacy Bridging the Gap series. And next week, we are going to come up with a new guest and a new topic that is really concerning you in the world of AI. Till then, stay safe and be careful.